Good morning, RPG a day. This is day 13 and 14. I'm going to go ahead and do today and tomorrow because I will be in the hospital. I see my primary doc, I see my cardiologist, and then I'll be in the hospital having further tests. They're trying to discover, what the deal is with my heart trouble. So it's going to be a long day for me tomorrow, and therefore I don't want to I want to get this done because I'm going to have a lot on my mind. So anyway, day 13, favorite character demise, that would be Nash, Dell's character in our 2061 post-apocalyptic games. Nash was a character I quickly made for him because we used Modern Age to start, and that's a pretty serious character generation. Matter of fact, a big part of what I like about Modern Age and Fantasy Age is character gen, so I made it for him because he did not have the books and he did not have the time. So I made Nash for him in Modern Age. And our second session in that, we transitioned into a D&D Moldvay Western, right? So we used a Western game that used the Moldvay rules, and so we moved Nash into that, and for our second session, and it was at the end of the second session that Nash perished. And first of all, one of the probably best periods in gaming for me, that particular phase, because we were both endeavoring to do this thing differently than we'd been doing it, and we were endeavoring in a way to test play some ideas, both really how to play, not what to play or what we were trying to play, but how we wanted to do this thing. And so we were slowly evolving into simpler games as we were working on this in character, but really in this naive narrator seat GM role, right? But Nash, so I created a world 2061. Nash was a warden, basically a marshal who had a district in post-apocalyptic Denver that he had to police, and he had rounds, and he had people he had to deal with, and he had a partner that was in another district that worked a different district that he knew, and he also had a boss, basically an authority that was in the main Denver metro area. Anyway, in one of his jaunts out toward DIA Airport to investigate things he'd heard were going on at the airport, the old DIA airport. He went past an old farmhouse of a family he knew out there. And when he came up on this farmhouse, he discovered it was occupied by about 9 people he didn't recognize. And he used his rifle and his scope to count heads and to try to investigate who these guys were. He made a quick evaluation that they were not supposed to be there, and who knows where the family was at, were these guys good guys or bad guys, but either way, he assessed that they needed to be eradicated from this facility, from this home. The home had a water tank in the front yard. The house was a ranch house down below him on a hill, and behind it was an old garage with an old gas tank. And he climbed up on the water tower and began to pick them off one by one with a sniper rifle. He was overwhelmed. He was trying to throw dynamite toward the house, and a couple of the guys shooting at him from there, but he was overwhelmed and surprised from behind in a melee while he was trying to throw the dynamite. He fumbled the actual roll in using Moldvay at that point, a Moldvay Western. It fell between their feet and off below them onto the ground and blew up, killing Nash and his assailant, his melee assailant on the water tower. And that was the end of Nash. Great death because great character, great beginning of the process that we eventually honed into the presentation methods that we use for Dark Age of Mayhem, naive narrator. So it's just everything about those sessions were unbelievably fun. And Dell always inhabits his characters, and it's always so good and so believable and so fun as Dell handles things very much from his character's perspective, very often seat of the pants. And Nash made it and what made this death so crazy was he took on, I think, 9 enemies, and he just made an assumption they weren't supposed to be there, that they were indeed bad guys. He had not really investigated, who they were. And so he started to waylay and take these guys out, really not knowing, and he died not knowing if they were good or bad. I never really told him, right, if they were good or bad guys, or why they were there. But he did not see any of the family members he knew lived there. So not a bad assessment. But So it made it memorable because of how he went about it, but it made it memorable because he died, of course. And it was an amazing death because he literally was surrounded. He was preoccupied with trying to throw a grenade and did not know that somebody had snuck up under the water tower. He had failed those rolls, or he had not realized the sneak check on the enemy. The enemy climbed the tower and tackled him while he was trying to heave a grenade in toward the house where they were held up. And he rolled a fumble on his attack roll, and we rolled where it randomly bounced, and it went off the water tower. And the water tower was only about 8 feet off the ground, 10 feet off the ground below them, and boom. And wow, what fun. So that will always be the most memorable, right? And I'll be honest, I've been playing on and off for 40 years. Since I was about 10 or 11, I started, and I took a long break. So I don't know, 30 years, whatever. Lots of GMing. So I've seen lots of characters die, and we play old games where the death is going to happen. But so there have been lots of amazing characters and amazing deaths, but this one happened on Adele's, I think, around his 50th birthday. We were playtesting ideas that we were eventually going to work into our game, Dark Age of Man, and it was fantastic. So there you go. Long story short, day 14, convention purchase. I've never been to a convention of any type. I've been to probably 8 professional football games in my life. I've been to many high school football games. I've been to many college hockey games live. I've been to 3 music concerts in my entire life. I am not a big event venue guy. I don't like large crowds. I don't really endeavor to do those things. Those things don't necessarily interest me. Pro football, because I have a passion for football and professional football in particular. I've been to a couple of college football games. But that's the extent of my going off and doing large crowd events. But I have not ever been to any convention at all. I've never been a much of a fan, so much of a fan that I would think to travel to do a convention of anything, comic books or movies or any kind of convention. I have been to conventions that involved my careers, right? When I was a barber, I had been to a convention that was about the barber business. So yes, I have been to a convention. But long story short, I've never been to a game convention or comic book convention, etc. But the best purchase for me, and it will stay forever in my heart, Dell went down to a local convention there with Scott Welker, our friend in the community, and he is a game designer, game writer, had written Task Force Raven, and he ran a session, some sessions, but he ran a session with Dell involved there of Task Force Raven, his setting for Savage Worlds adventure games, Suede, Deluxe Edition. I guess it's Suede Deluxe Edition. Hardback, and Dell was able to get that for me. And not only that, Scott signed it and Dell mailed it to me. It was a great surprise. I had no idea. I had already had the books in my card on DriveThruRPG. I was gonna buy the hard copy, and Dell was an amazing surprise. And I got it and didn't even realize when I flipped through it that Scott had signed it. And later, when I sat down to read it and begin to prep for the local session that I still have not had a chance to run, saw that Scott signed it. And so later I thanked Scott for signing it. I missed it when I made my video unboxing of Dell's package to me. So that will forever be the best purchase that I ever made at a convention, although I didn't actually go and I didn't actually purchase it, but it will always be my favorite. There's no way around it. Dell thinking of me, and then Scott signing it for me, which was just so cool. I wish I could have been there to play with him. It would have been great. So anyway, that's it. So everybody out there, again, I won't be here tomorrow, and I won't go on and do more here on this video. It's already been long enough, but if I don't get back for 15, 16, 17, etc., you'll have to forgive me. I've got a lot going on. So hopefully I will, but I will be back, and I will be trying to pick up wherever I left off, or maybe even catch up on the questions as I did when I was out of town for days 1 through 6. Everybody have a fantastic week. Everybody out there, enjoy your hobby, love your hobby, and get the most out of it. All right. Bye.